Good morning. We are extremely pleased that you are here. It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree? Yes. You're knowing what you're wanting? Nice to want? Nice to have desire? Do you like the way your desire continues to expand and clarify? Yeah. And do you believe that you are, for the most part, up to speed with your desire? Do your beliefs match them? Do you believe what you want? Do you believe in your ability to be or do or have these things that you desire? We have enjoyed this interaction immensely. Because that's it, isn't it? When you have desire, which life will continue to help focus within you, and you're not contradicting your desire with a belief that opposes it. I want this, and I believe that it is in the process of becoming. And I am satisfied with where it is right now at this phase along my path. Now that's the perfect emotional, vibrational stance. When you recognize that there is always going to be something more that you will want, you will never be in a place of completion, ever. So as long as you are happy in your eternal incompletion, then you can live happily ever after. But if you need a condition to change, if you need a situation to be different, if you need that phone to stop ringing before you can be happy, then you're, as Esther says, screwed. Because there are always conditions that are going to be out of your control. In fact, more conditions are out of your control than are in your control when you take on the whole of everything that you may be giving your attention to. So the key to living happily ever after, having all of the success that you were born to have, and by success we mean alignment, joy, and everything that will follow that, which is everything you desire. The key to that is understanding that you are a vibrational being, first and foremost. You are beautifully manifested in your flesh, blood, and bone. Your ability to see and hear and smell and taste and touch this magnificent time-space reality is something that you came for too. In other words, you came for this leading edge manifestation. And the manifestations of all of the things that surround you, the experiences, the people, the life, all of that is leading edge manifestation that you came specifically for. You didn't come to sit over in a corner and meditate all day. You came to live life fully, to focus fully within it. You came to flow your consciousness into this time-space reality, but you also intended something that most humans are not very good at accomplishing yet. You intended to tune yourself to the frequency of the whole of who you are, so that the whole of who you are is having this moment in time. And that requires a handful of things. First, you got to understand that you are vibrational and that the entire universe is. Next, you have to understand that the way you feel is the key to your understanding what your vibrational output is, what it is in relationship to what you want, and what it is in relationship to who you really are, to the trajectory of who you really are. Who were you when you made the decision to come into this time-space reality, to focus into this body? Who were you as a consciousness? You were consciousness who knew your value, who came with great interest. You knew your worthiness. You knew your capability. You knew the potential of being here. And when you get off track from knowing who you are, from knowing your value, from appreciating where you are and who you are, then you begin to practice vibrational frequencies. They come to you in the form of the thoughts that you think. Eventually they become beliefs, because all a belief is a thought that you keep thinking, is a well-practiced thought. So sometimes, in fact often, you come into your physical body, and instead of being aware of the trajectory from which you have come, the trajectory of the energy that is focused to you and through you, instead you care more about how others who are walking around in their physical bodies are seeing you. You care more about what their response to you is than you care about, and here's the important word, than you care about your own source energy response to who you are. Your source energy response to who you are is steady. You are loved, you are appreciated, you are understood, you are backed up, you are supported, you are known, you are pure positive energy from the perspective of Source who sees you, hear it, unconditionally. Source knowing your value regardless of where you stand in any moment in time. But for you, often, you don't stand in an unconditional place. You come into a situation and sometimes you respond to the condition of where you are. When the gang gathered last night, getting this room ready for you, the air wall was up here, and there wasn't room for all of you and all of this. And the contract that they'd signed clearly stated that there were to be 400, but a lot of you made the decision at the last minute. Did you notice? Over 100 of you made the decision at the last minute. And so here's the condition. What we planned for and those who are coming are a very different number. So the condition clearly was not pleasing. Now, everyone knows that it's possible to squeeze you all in. Now you look at it, though, it doesn't really look as possible as it looked last night, did it? There is this square dance area up here that could have been utilized, but for the most part, the room was not big enough. It had not been planned to be big enough because you were underestimated in your enthusiasm for this gathering. So there was a condition that had to be reconciled, and it had to be reconciled at the last minute. There wasn't time to go sit by the beach and think pleasant thoughts about the dolphins. And Esther is thinking, Abraham's going to talk all day long about unconditional love. I know they are. And here we are in a condition that we do not love. And we cannot take our attention away from the condition because we are up against it. And that's what happens to you sometimes, isn't it? Is that you walk into a situation that is the result of the momentum that has been moving along. And now you're standing there in the middle of it. And if you are like most humans, you respond to the condition. But here's the thing that matters most. What do you do next? Someone said the other day, Abraham, how does one, she meant how do I, but how does one, I have a friend, how does one get rid of doubt? And we said, you get rid of it before you get it, which is totally annoying. Because once you've got it, Abraham, you squirrely ghost. How do you get rid of doubt? Well, in the middle of it, in other words, doubt is the way you feel when you're focused upon something and have been for a while that you believe that is contrary to who you really are and what you really want. All negative emotion means exactly that. Your life has caused you to expand into a new vibrational becoming. How do those words set with you? Do you like knowing that you are constantly becoming something that is more? But the tricky thing about that is, since you are constantly becoming something that is more, you've got to vibrationally figure out how to vibrationally keep up with what you have vibrationally become. Did we mention that you're vibrational? In other words, you cannot expand as life will constantly cause you to do and not keep up with your own expansion and feel good at the same time. So you have to care about the way you feel. That's the way you keep up with your expansion. But caring about the way you feel means doing something about the way you feel regardless of the condition. And that's where the term unconditional love comes in. Humans have been using the phrase for a very long time, and hardly any of you really understand what it means. You think unconditional love means look at some rascal who is really behaving in a bad way and just don't say anything about it. Don't rat him out. Don't talk to somebody else about him. Don't get him fired. Just love him unconditionally as you despise his behavior and most other things about him. And we say, that's maybe what you might call tolerance. In other words, you're putting up with it. You're not freaking out about it, but it is not unconditional, because this condition that you are focused upon is an opinion that differs from the opinion that the source within you holds about it, because the source within you is holding an unconditional point of view. Well, before this day is over, you're going to understand completely why we, from Source, are able to hold things from an unconditional viewpoint. We'll give you a statement that you may be ready to receive, and then we'll fill in the gaps as we continue over the next few hours. But the reason that we are able to focus upon any situation unconditionally is because the current conditions, or the what isness of whatever it isness, doesn't mean diddly squatness. In other words, what is doesn't matter, because what is only a temporary reflection of the vibration that you got going on. So we want to explain to you what we mean. You were source energy before you came into this physical body. And a part of you is focused here in this physical body, but a larger part of you is still non-physically focused. You are source energy, and a part of that source energy is focused here and now. So in your human form, you sift through, you know what you don't want, you know what you do want, you continue to sift through the data, and you constantly, whether you know you're doing it or not, are launching rockets of desire. We call them rockets of desire. They're your personal preferences. When someone's rude, you want them to be nicer. When you're rude, you want to be nicer. When you don't have enough money, you want more money. In other words, life just causes you to sift and sort and launch these rockets. So this vibrational becoming is happening constantly. And it is a vibrational becoming. Now, it hasn't manifested yet, therefore it's unconditional. You see what we're getting at? It hasn't manifested into conditions for you to observe. It hasn't manifested into a condition that is unpleasant or into a condition that is pleasant. It's a vibrational rocket of desire that has created. If you've been listening to us for a while, you've seen all of our creative ways of trying to explain to you this stuff that is not physical into this, what we've been calling a vibrational reality. We even gave it the name of a vortex. It's this vibrational state of being that is the precursor to everything else that is coming for you. So this vibrational state of being, which is where your inner being stands, it's where we stand, it's who you really are, has not yet manifested. It has become in terms of an idea. It has become in terms of a hope or a dream. There's enough in your vortex to keep you busy for 20 or 30 lifetimes. In other words, it is the beginning of that which you are. And you know that vortex existed before you were even born into your physical body, because there was a projection of intention from non-physical. There was a vibrational reality that had so much to do about you before you were even born into this physical body. Do you see what we're getting at? This vibrational precursor of that which is you. It was like the vibrational plan. It was like the vibrational probability. It's the vibrational reality. So now you're here in your physical body. You are adding to this vibrational reality. The question that we want to help you ask and answer for yourself is, how much of a vibrational gap is there between the things that life has caused me to ask for and the things that I believe, the things that I practice in my thought? And you can tell, two ways you can tell. One is by the way you feel. If you're joyful, there's no gap. If you're feeling appreciation, there's no gap. If you're angry, quite a big gap. That's one way. You can tell by the emotions that you feel. But the other way is you can tell by how things are manifesting. Because when who you are and what you want and what you think on a regular basis are in the same vibrational frequency, it's manifesting all around you. Others can see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it too. It is a reality. It is a what is. It is a manifestation. You want to call it reality. It is real in the sense that others see it too. But we so want you to understand that before there is a reality, the way you want to call it reality, there is a vibrational reality. And that vibrational reality is filled with all that you have become and are becoming. And you have the ability, if you understand what we're talking about here, to close that gap and have what you want. We wrote this book called Getting Into the Vortex. And you listened to us for a while about it with an enormous amount of patience, we thought, because we're telling you, just get in the vortex, get in the vortex. That's where everything you want is. And then you began getting a little feisty with us, demanding things like, how do we get into the vortex? And we would say to you, everything you want is in there. Everything that you want. Your lover is there. Your lovers are there. All of the money that you want is there. That new car that you want is there. Everything that you want is there. Everything that you want, everything that you have become in terms of desire is there. And then you began saying things to us like, well, okay, I accept that there is a reality. You wave Esther's arm around and you look at something that we can't see and you tell us that everything that we want is in there. So just tell me, Abraham, how do I get my money out of the vortex and into the bank? How do I turn this airy-fairy vibrational reality into reality that I can see and hear and smell and taste and touch? I want to drive it and I want to sleep with it and I want to spend it. I want the tangible manifestation. I want real life manifestation. I don't want to just dream all the time. And we say, we want you to have that real life too. And you are having real life. And the real life that you're having is a vibrational match to the thoughts that you're thinking all the time. We're just suggesting that you could, if you care about the way you feel, close that gap between your dreams and desires and who you really are and what you are allowing into your experience. So over time, we've expressed this to you in a variety of ways. And for the most part, you're up to speed with what we've been talking about. We tell you that you are vibrational, and you hardly ever resist that idea anymore. We tell you that this universe is managed by the law of attraction. The law of attraction manages vibrations. You can't set your radio dial on 98 FM and hear what's being broadcast on 101 AM. In other words, the frequencies have to match up, and if they don't, the transmitter and the receiver aren't on the same frequency, then the receiver doesn't receive what the transmitter is transmitting. It's just simple laws of physics, and law of attraction is exactly the same way. You can't set your dial on Henri and have lovely things come into your experience. They are different vibrational frequencies. So then we began to talk to you about your emotions and what your emotions mean. And we talked about the different emotions that you might have, all the way from despair, all the way up to appreciation and love and joy. We began talking about the disc that you might be on, the spinning disc of emotion. If you're on the Henri disc, you're not going to rendezvous with people who are on the happy disc. It just doesn't happen. Law of attraction doesn't match you up that way. And today, what we want to say to you, because we know you've been following along with this to a certain extent, we want to give you the piece, the only piece that has ever been missing for you. We want you to understand that where you stand right here and now is what you've got all the time, now. There's never tomorrow, have you noticed? Tomorrow is an illusion. It will be eaten up by today. Today. Now. That's all you've got. You've got now. And what you do now is what matters, because all you've got is now. And what matters in your now is that you understand that you have two perspectives of now. There's the source energy perspective, source energy who stands right in the middle of your vortex with all that you've been asking for, holding the vibrational frequency of every bit of all of that. And then there's you and what you believe right now, what you've been practicing, what you're thinking about. And your point of attraction is about what you think about. It's about what you believe. A belief is just a thought you keep thinking. So where you stand and what you believe has everything to do with how much that's in that vortex that you allow to flow into your experience. So we began talking to you about your point of attraction, you in your human body. You stand right here and now. Where you stand right here and now, what is your point of attraction? What is the vibrational atmosphere that you have created? Are you ornery? Are you irritated? Are you afraid? Are you angry? Are you blameful? Are you guilty? If you're feeling those emotions on a pretty steady basis, that means you are holding yourself steadily in vibrational discord to who you really are and what you really want. And the thing that is so interesting about that is that if life hadn't caused you to expand, you wouldn't even feel the discord. In other words, it's not somebody else's idea of who you should be. It's not God's idea of who you should be. It's not your mother's idea, although sometimes it feels like it, of who you should be. It's your own internal discord. Life caused you to want to be this, but you're being this, and that's what negative emotion always means. As Esther was talking, negotiating, wrestling to the ground and killing last night, the really nice man across the hall who was responsible, who said that the fire marshal would not allow more than 400 people in the room. And Esther kept looking at the sign on the wall. It says 474 people on that sign. How can the fire marshal not let us have 474 people when the sign says 474 people? And he says, because you've got too much other stuff. And Esther said, but we always have this stuff with us. We take this stuff everywhere we go. We have a truck. We drag this stuff everywhere we go. We do this all the time. So as Esther is talking to this man, then he said, what's your seminar about? Yeah. Esther said, I hate you. The seminar is about, it's about getting what you want. It's about figuring out how under all conditions to make things work out the way you want them to be. And it's about living happily ever after. Actually, Esther was very pleasant with him, and he was very pleasant with her, but they had a situation. And so what we are wanting you to understand is that in every moment, you have a vibrational relationship with who you really are. And if you hadn't become something that you're not now being, you would not feel the discord. That's the most important thing to know about your emotions. If you are not feeling good, it always means the same thing. You are not vibrationally up to speed with who you really are and what you really want. And there's no getting around it. Hear these words. There's no condition that you can wrestle to the ground in any way that is going to change that. Because it's not the condition that's got you all upset. It's the vibrational inconsistency. It's the vibrational variance. It's the resistance that you are introducing in this moment to a frequency that is dominant, you see. So we are eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. It is our powerful desire that in these hours that we are together, you come to recognize that you stand in what we want to call your point of attraction. It's this vibrational, emotional, mood, atmosphere. It's what's going on with you. And if we can convince you that through life that you have a magnificent vibrational reality that has the potential of fully manifesting all the dollars you want, all the relationships you want, all of the material objects that you want, all of the conditions and circumstances and events and lifestyle, all of the lovely things that you want, that life has shown you that you would feel better in the having of. All of those magnificent manifestations can flow easily into your realization when you contour your mood or atmosphere in a way that does not oppose it. In other words, you can't want something that you doubt. You can't believe that you can't have something that you want and have it. So we'll be talking about that. We'll show you how to get to that place. It's so much easier than you have ever believed it to be. This business of creating your own vibrational atmosphere is so much fun, because with a little bit of attention to it, you can do a big shifting in your point of attraction. And when you do a shift, even a slight shift in what you are outputting vibrationally, the differences in what comes back to you is amazing. We want you to live happily ever after. We want you to understand that there is a path that you have set into motion and that you are continuing to set into motion. And that when you figure out how to feel the vibe of your path and you work consistently by focusing to be on that vibrational frequency, that the manifestational evidence will help you to know that you are right on your path. Being the deliberate creator of your own reality does not mean looking for the path. It means creating an atmosphere that allows you to see the path right beneath your feet. Do you believe that? Do you believe that Source is at your back? Do you believe that the well-being is really yours to be lived? If you don't, it's only because you've been depriving yourself of it and you're letting the now reality contour your beliefs. We want you to believe in the laws of the universe as we know them to be. We want you to believe in your emotional guidance system as you feel it all day, every day. We want you to practice thinking and feeling on purpose until you can show yourself that you can feel outside of the conditions. That was one of the things that Esther enjoyed most about last evening's escapade. It was more funny to her than anything else. It wasn't the end of the world. It wasn't upheaval. It wasn't anything to condemn or blame. It was only a problem that required a solution. And that is the zest of life, you know. That's at the heart of becoming. Very often, your own source will lead you to a realization of a problem because it is on the path toward the solution. If you don't bring a problem into focus, you sure are not going to bring a solution into focus. And without the two of them, you will not have expansion. So it's time to make peace with the contrast in general terms and to accept that all really is well with you. Stop beating up on yourself. I'm going to show you how to feel about you the way we feel about you. And when you start feeling about you the way we feel about you, oh, the avalanche of stuff that's in your vortex will begin flowing into your experience in such a profound and magnificent way that you may very well say, stop the goodness, I can't take anymore. Nah, you're gluttons, you'll like it all. So, what do you want to talk about? Some things. It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a really good day. Don't worry about it if we don't choose you specifically because you are well represented by others. What you want to know, we can feel it. We'll get to it, is our promise to you. So, let's have some fun. Start right here. Yeah.
Wow. I was sure I wasn't going to get picked today.
You were sure you were not going to get picked today?
We're not going to get picked, but I asked for help.
Oh, well, good.
That's fine. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, well. First mistake we've ever made.
No, I had help today with me. I have 3 questions. The first one is the biggest one. My life mostly is amazing, but 3 months ago, my 4-year-old son and his mom decided to kick the bucket. Okay. And a car accident took my love of my life away. Not his mom. I'm gay. And my daughter survived, and she's fine. And anyway, so
So what happened?
So I'm trying to deal with, 'cause I feel him inside me all the time, and I'm trying to cope with that version of him as opposed to watching him grow into 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm just having a hard time with that, although I can be happy most of the time. But just, I miss him a lot. I mean, you know, and I didn't even want him initially. He just inspired me to have him, and it happened so easily, and he came to my life. It was the biggest thing, and then he just went away. And I feel him, like I feel him right now. I felt him earlier. I know he's the one who got me picked. I've been coming here for 8 years, and I've only been picked once. And I just don't, I know it was his trajectory and his life, but it's hard not to have a sense of connection with him and say, why did you leave me?
Well, if there was ever a conversation that would get fast to the heart of the subject of unconditional love, if there were ever a condition that is hard to take, it would be a condition like this. You agree? So, there's no way, oh, we love this question so much. There's no way of answering a question with the depth and power and intensity that this question has in any other way. Humans cannot make sense of death, especially death of children. You just can't do it. It's a condition that is so outside of anything you ever want that it twists your brain into a knot. It makes you willing to forfeit everything that you've ever believed about goodness in the world, usually, when a condition that appalling occurs. But when you have a basis of understanding the eternalness that you are, now we know, under these conditions, if you are thinking from your human perspective, blah, 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 blah. Nothing is more irritating than to have somebody who doesn't care about a body. That would be us. Talking about the eternal nature of your consciousness. And yet, that is what this is all about. The eternal nature of who we all are. So, if happiness, which is what everyone wants, depends upon being able to hold circumstances in the order that you have defined them, then there really cannot ever be happiness among the human population. You just can't ever be happy. There are too many moving parts. There are too many things you can't control. So then you say, well, we don't need to control everything, Abraham. Just the big things. Just things like keeping our children safe. Just things like being able to watch them grow up. Is that too much to ask? Aren't there some conditions that we can be assured of? If you say we create our own reality, what's the point of creating our own reality if it isn't to contour conditions into a more pleasing state of being? And we say, the other day, because Esther's been thinking a lot about this unconditional love stuff, Esther was sitting after a few weeks of focusing with us, thinking about it, caring about the way she feels, talking herself into feeling good, no matter what was going on. And one day she's sitting in Texas overlooking the pool and the gardens, and she found herself in a rapturous state of appreciation. It was heightened. And she was looking at some sculptures that are truly amazing. They are cranes, and the man that created them is world-renowned, and they look like two cranes standing there dipping into the water. They are beautiful, beautiful pieces. And Esther was looking at them just in amazement at their contour and their realness. And then she looked at the pool, it's a zero-edge pool, and it drops off an infinity edge into a water garden, and takes your breath away. It is so beautiful, the sound of it too. And then the bird in the tree, and then the trees, and as Esther's looking at this stuff, she is feeling better than she's ever felt, ever, heightened, joyful appreciation. And then she said, aha, Abraham. These are conditions. I'm focused on conditions, and these conditions are making me very happy. It's a beautiful pool and beautiful birds and beautiful trees and beautiful other birds and beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. These are conditions. What's all this business about unconditional love? These conditions are thrilling me. And we said, Esther, you were at that vibrational pitch before you even noticed these conditions, and that's the difference. The difference is finding the alignment and then, rather than needing the condition to create the feeling. So when you say why, you had an agreement. You had an agreement that you would come together, know one another, love one another, and figure out what unconditional love really is, what love without condition is. And so, as we were saying earlier, we know this may not feel like a very satisfying answer to any of you now. But if you can hear what we said just a little bit ago. We said the manifestations are, for the most part, they should not be and they don't need to be, but humans use manifestations as conditions to support emotions. And that's what goes wrong with you. Because when you use conditions to support good feeling emotions, now you are bound. Now you are not free, because you cannot control the conditions that you feel you need to support the emotions. But when you are able to show yourself, and if there was ever a difficult time, this would be it. In other words, we always say to our friends, start with things that are easier. But here you are, you walked right into this, you're blindsided by it. It's something that happened, it's something that you cannot help but observe, and of course it's bringing emotions forth from you. But it is our promise to you that your dearly departed, as you are already acknowledging you're receiving so much help from, will help you to discover that you can be in a state of alignment with all that you are without needing to control the physical outcomes of anything. And once you get that, now here's the part that's a little tricky for you to hear. So we're going to say it, and then we're going to say it, and then we're going to say it, because we want you to get this. When you are able to find alignment unconditionally, we'll show you how to do it, then your alignment generates conditions that are pleasing. But feel the trap in that. Because in the moment, your motive is to change the condition so that you can feel better. Now you're twirled up in it in a backwards way. So Abraham, did I hear you right? If I love unconditionally, now instead of using the word unconditional love for a minute, let's use some other words that mean the same thing. Unconditional clarity, unconditional fun, unconditional ease, unconditional alignment. Love, appreciation, alignment, ease, clarity, yes, unconditional alignment. So once you find this unconditional alignment, then things that are in your vortex move into your reality where you can realize them. But until you find it, then they can't. And so, can you feel the trap that so many of you put yourselves in? Where if that condition, so Esther has been writing, she's filled 2 notebooks up in the last 2 days with this understanding. So something will happen, or she will become aware of something that is a condition that she does not like as it stands. So she'll write, condition that I need to change. She's really sticking it to herself a little bit. A condition that I need to change so that I will feel better. Now she knows the flaw in that reasoning. In other words, she's just leading herself to an epiphany, and it's working every time. The condition that I need to change so that I can feel better. Well, a condition like this, you can't change. That's a condition you can't change. That's not something that's going to change. Jerry made his transition. That's a condition that is not going to change. That condition, I want this person here playing with me the way we used to play together. That's a condition that won't change. So when you say, I need this condition to change before I can feel better, feel the trap in that. So, but that's the way Esther's writing it. What is the condition that I require a change? And then she's writing, because I want that condition to change so that I can feel. And then she's been writing a series of emotions that she will feel. And then she says, using all of her logic that she's gathered as she's picked up along this trail with us, the 8 years you've been listening are going to serve you really well. She says, well, I can find these emotions. I cannot change that condition, but I can find these emotions. So then she just sits and writes the words, the emotional words, until she feels the shift take place. And every single time she feels the shift take place. And then, you know what happens? Then Jerry's right there, thinking in her head, moving to the music, enjoying something that she's eating, basking in the beauty of the pool. Undeniable, you see. You have to show it to yourself. You're already having those experiences.
I have him with me, and he's with me now. I mean, I feel him more than normal people do. I mean, he buzzes inside of me for 30 minutes on.
What Esther is willing to say now that she wasn't willing to say for a couple of years is, I like this new relationship. And for a while, it felt like she was more aware of where Jerry wasn't. And then she couldn't find him. But once she started feeling him like you're feeling, and started focusing on where he is, then that lack of him evaporated. Because when you think about it, we know we're not getting very far with you. We can feel, because you don't want these kinds of conditions to happen in your experience. We get it. We don't blame you. We don't want those conditions to happen in your experience either. But what we do want is for you to find alignment. And when you do, the conditions will become irrelevant. Right now, you don't believe that. Right now, it feels to you that there are some conditions that are just intolerable. There are some conditions that I'm never going to be down with, Abraham. I'm never going to agree that I can live with that. And the universe isn't testing you, but you were born to be free. You were born to feel good regardless of the conditions. And look at how wadded up you are as a human race. You need those people to be different and those people to be different, and they're not being different, so we'll build a big fence. And they're not being different, so now we'll guard the fence. And they're not being different, and we don't want them to come over here, so we'll put up a bigger fence. And we don't like what they're doing over there, so we'll just drop some bombs on them, and we'll just threaten them, and we'll just wrestle them to the ground, and we'll just kill them, because there are all these conditions that we need to change so that we can live happily ever after. And how happily ever after are you living in all of that, pushing against all of that other stuff? You got no choice if you want to live happily ever after, other than to come in alignment with who you are. And when you come into alignment with who you are, the conditions become irrelevant to your alignment, and then in your alignment, the conditions blossom to your pleasing. That's how it works.
Does my son leaving have anything to do with me?
You know, Esther has a friend who says, when Jerry didn't leave, when Jerry didn't leave, Esther just loves that, because he didn't leave. He didn't leave. He became more present. He became more an integral part of her life. You should see the way he edits from inside of her. They can edit on the computer screen now. She doesn't have to print stuff out for him. In other words, he's such a cheap date. She doesn't have to buy that airline ticket for him anymore. He's always there, always available, always up for fun, always there.
Yeah, but his sister is having a hard time with it. His other mom is having a hard time with it.
Yeah, we know.
But did we attract this? Did his little sister attract this? Did his mom attract it? How do we?
Yeah, because from your non-physical perspective, when that trajectory was set into motion, you all knew your invincibility, and you didn't feel conditionally vulnerable to anything.
Okay,
you understand how flexible and fluid you are, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Yeah, we'll go, we'll have fun, then I'll take off, you'll miss me, but you'll figure something really important out. Okay, let's go.
Okay. I'm going to leave this topic because I want to get other questions in.
Well, that's
important. I mean, I get it. I get you so much.
That is our favorite conversation that we've ever had, because it speaks to the whole of everything that we are talking about. It is our promise to you that you can find joy beyond anything that you've ever experienced before. You just got to get through this normal, conditional response to things. Every now and again, Esther Still will open a drawer and see something, and she'll just take a minute. She just takes a minute as she sees something that reminds her of something that isn't anymore. And then she laughs about it and gets on with something even better.
Well, my name is Happy, and I've always prided myself on being able to find happiness. And I'm finding happiness more than anyone else in our group is finding it right now with this topic. But there's other things. There's my hair's fallen out, which has been happening for a year. And then that was hard when you look in the mirror and you try to fix it, and it's just like half of it's missing. And I wanted to grow back or fix it, but sometimes that damn mirror is everywhere. So, and it stresses me out. Sometimes, like, it's so weird. And I think about happy stuff.
Don't make us say this.
The same thing you said before, right?
Don't make us say this.
Say it.
So, again, a condition. My happiness is dependent upon a condition that I seemingly cannot control. And so it stresses you out. So
Yes.
you write in your book, a condition I can't control. A condition that I cannot right now control is a condition that's happening. It's something that is that I cannot control. And the reason that I want to control it is. So let's play with that just a little bit. If you could control that condition, why do you want to control it? What is the emotional reason that you want to control that condition?
I want to feel pretty.
Yeah. It's a really good reason. I want to feel pretty. What I want to feel attractive. I want to feel beautiful. I want to be seen as beautiful. What else?
In this topic, that's pretty much it.
Well, but there are more emotions that you can find. There are more emotions that you can find. In other words, I want to feel confident. I want to feel self-assured. I want to feel beautiful. We're repeating, we know, but because you're wanting to stimulate the emotion within you. I'm wanting to feel accomplished. I'm wanting to feel effective. I'm wanting to feel effective, meaning being the creator of my own reality. I want to feel enhanced. I want to feel free. I want to feel self-appreciation. I want to feel appreciation from others. So now we've said those words, and they may just feel like words, but now maybe it's been long enough that it has distracted you from the condition that you can't control to an emotion that you can control. So then you focus upon feeling of vitality, feeling of sensuality, feeling of that feeling of lightheartedness, that feeling of really feeling good in your body, that feeling of frisky, that feeling of fun, all those emotions that revolve around relationships, that feeling of alignment, that feeling of interest, that feeling of being alive, that feeling of living life purposefully, that feeling of enhanced life, that feeling of being on vacation, that feeling of fun and clarity, that feeling. So now, were any of you listening? And did any of you take the emotional journey just a little bit? In other words, the emotional journey that distracts from the condition and accomplishes the emotional journey, which is the reason that you want the condition. So you have unconditionally shifted your energy. That's what unconditional love is. It's unconditionally shifting your energy. Now, what most want to say is, now I've done that, will my hair grow back? And we say, if you ask that too soon, no. If you ask that too soon, then you don't accomplish the vibrational shift. You see what we're getting at? Now you've made it conditional again. Conditional on something that you cannot control. But if you're able to go there and go there and go there, and enough things will happen in your day that will point to this exercise again and again and again, that by the end of the week, you will have shifted the way you feel about yourself. It will not be dependent upon anything. And then everything changes for you. You know, the way people see you isn't about, first of all, it isn't about what you think it's about. It has in large part to do with what they've got going on vibrationally. So if you're self-conscious, you know who you predominantly attract? People who are conscious of yourself. If you start feeling self-conscious about something, you'll have people all over walking around checking out your hair. Because you attract that. You attract the evidence of the thing that you worry about, you see. Oh, we are so excited about you all discovering the freedom, the ease, and the power of this unconditional alignment. Because alignment is alignment with source. Alignment is alignment with energy. Alignment is wobble-free. Alignment is focused upon what you want with no contradictory vibration. And when you get that kind of alignment going on, there is a leverage in that kind of alignment that can accomplish anything, no exceptions. But we are not eager to go there, because then you all say, okay, I'll do the stupid exercise in order to change the condition. And now we're right back where we were before, with you needed a condition to change, focused upon a condition which is holding you in vibrational discord to who you really are and what you really want. And then you complain that the process doesn't work when it does. So what do we say? You gotta care about how you feel, not about how much hair you have in order to get more hair. But how do you sort that out? How do you sort that out? Well, you do it by making sure that you've shifted the emotion. And before long, this is the thing that worries people from time to time. I think Abraham's just trying to get me to focus on my emotions so I don't care about my hair. And we say, exactly. But if you can focus upon your emotions so that you don't care about the condition will shift. So then you say, aha, this is the way to change the condition. And we say, you gotta leave that part out. You have to become someone who wants to live unconditionally. It's the only way you're ever gonna be free. Someone said the other day, I love walking on the mountaintops. And he went into a nice rampage of things he appreciates about it. And then we said, that's pretty conditional. In other words, he was raving about how all of the fresh air and the beautiful view and how it made him feel. And we said, so if you're in a valley, the condition is going to cause you to feel different than if you're on the mountaintop. In other words, that's the disadvantage of needing positive conditions to positively affect you. Because when you train yourself to respond to conditions, then the positive conditions will cause you to soar, but the negative conditions will cause you to plummet. And that's what makes you feel out of control in your experience, you see. And it's also what makes you, as individuals, as small groups, as larger groups, and as mass consciousness, develop the flawed premise that the way to your happiness is through the control of others. It isn't. Just get you bigger bombs and higher taxes to pay for them.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can get.
How'd you like that? It's doable. Try it. You'll like it. You will like it. You will like this. You will like the way you feel. You will like control of the way you feel, and you will like the results of shifting the way you feel. You will like it.
Okay, my last question is 2 topics, but I think the same answer will probably apply, as the same answer always applies.
Yeah.
One is, like, how do you not get self-defeatist when you've been there's a topic that you've had issues with for a long time, and you've tried, I mean, 8 years now, I've tried not thinking about it, put months at a time where I'd put it out of my mind, think about the little things I like, and one is attracting love in my life, which I attract sex in my life really easily, but love is a hard one to do, the one, for example, and you feel like, well, you know how law of attraction works, and obviously I've tried everything, and I feel like I'm doing something wrong now, and it's not.
Well, first we want to say, listen to your conversation, and we know it's the perfect opportunity to have this conversation, because you can't find an answer unless you present the question. But if the question just remains really active in you for year after year after year after year, then your experience remains a response to the question that's active. In other words, you've got to stop. The vibration of a question and the vibration of an answer are different frequencies. The vibration of a problem and the vibration of a solution are different frequencies. So you have to find a way of moving off the problem, and that's what the unconditional part will do. Can you feel how that all fits together? So you just described a condition that you keep active because you keep observing it. It's like a vicious cycle. Esther argued with us about this for a long time in the beginning. She would say, well, Abraham, it's true. It's true. Are you asking me to not notice something that is true? And we said, yes, we're asking you to take your attention off true things that you don't want to keep making true in your experience. Because you observe it, and then you offer the vibration of it, and then of course the universe will deliver it to you over and over and over again. So now we've been saying that to you for years, 8 years, haven't heard it, so we're going to say it to you different today. So the way we're saying it to you different today is, so you tell us again, succinctly, the condition that needs to change so that you can feel love.
I'm actually going to tell you what I usually my rampage that's usually happening.
Answer the question if you would,
Okay,
please, and
all
then
right.
you can rampage all you want. But answer what is the condition? You just presented it to us, so just say it clearly. I need to find my true love in order to what?
To, when I wake up in the morning to feel love, I guess, and...
So are you saying to us that a condition needs to change? There needs to be somebody there that is that object of your attention to which you feel that love before you can feel that love.
No, and I do feel love, I just don't feel love with someone else.
So are you saying that it would be easier for you to feel that true love if there was someone there with you to which you felt that true love?
Yeah.
That's logical, isn't it? But you can't get there from there. You can't get there from there because the vibration that you've got going on is preventing you from getting there. So you have to shift something. So if the condition is, you need to be there so that I can love you, and since you're not there, I can't love you. But you need to be there, and then I will feel love for you, but where are you? I can't love you. I can have sex with you, but I don't feel everything that I want to feel. So somebody needs to show up so that I can feel all of that, and then I'll feel all of that. Have you ever heard anything more conditional in your life? Once the condition shifts, then I will have a response to the condition. Isn't that what you're saying? You don't want it to be what you're saying, but it is really obvious that it's what you're saying. I need this condition to be different so that I can have a different conditional response to it. We're going to be really stubborn about this, and we're going to say it the way you mean it, because the universe doesn't hear what you say, the universe hears what you mean. I need this to be different so that I can feel different about it. That's what you're saying. Do you agree? So, since that doesn't work, then is it possible for you to feel the way you want to feel before the person shows up? Because everything that everyone wants, no matter what it is, whether it's a material object or a pile of money or stuff, everything that you want is because you feel like, you believe that you will feel better in the having of it. So let's focus on the love that you want to feel for someone. So just use some words. What does it feel like? What does that love feel like?
It feels like warmth, it feels like sharing, it feels like
well-being. It feels a bit like security. It feels like appreciation. It feels like appreciating. It feels like being appreciated. It feels like stability. It feels like respect. It feels like fun. It feels like spontaneity. It feels like cleverness. It feels like humor. It feels like life. It feels like zest. It feels sensual. It feels like being alive. It feels like eagerness. It feels just right. It feels like home. It feels like well-being. It feels like fun. It feels like stability. It feels like appreciation. It feels like appreciating. It feels like spontaneity. It feels like being on vacation. It feels like home. It feels like comfort. It feels like honoring. It feels like honesty. It feels like home. It feels like well-being. It feels like who I am. It feels like love. It feels like source. It feels like clarity. It feels full. No wonder you want it. Doesn't it feel like all of that? And can you get on an emotional rampage like that without generating some of those feelings within yourself unconditionally? And what we're saying is, do that for a little while, and someone who matches that will... We don't want to say show up on your path. We want to say they're already on your path, but you'll realize it because you will be in the frequency that allows you to zig and zag and rendezvous.
Is there one person that would fit my future, or can different people come until the maybe the one that I'm supposed to be with come? Is it let's say I line up, right?
What difference does it make if there's pleasure on the path? That's really what we want to say. That you all get so hung up on the final path that you miss this and this and this and this and this and this and this. In other words, your path is never ending. Your path is continually unfolding. But your path can be everything. You can realize everything that you want in a relationship now. You have to put up with things that are missing, because when you put up with things that are missing and observe things that are missing, that conditional awareness of things that are missing holds you in a place of not allowing what you really want to come. We don't want you to put up with what you don't want. We want you to find a way to find vibrational accord with what you do want, which means you got to get off the specifics that haven't lined up yet to the vibrational core of it, and then it will come.
Can you give me a one sentence answer to this question? Because I don't want a long one. If I like to drink and be intoxicated quite often, as of recent, more now than ever. But when you're in a momentum is built and you crave something, what is something you can say to yourself to kind of like kick the craving and then go on to the next thing? You know, just so you can, just one sentence.
Okay, this is going to be a really long sentence. What you're asking is, what could I say or do to shift the momentum that has been underway for a while? And we say, there isn't anything that you can do in this moment other than respond to the momentum. That's why when people say, I'm not going to do that anymore, and they haven't shifted anything vibrationally, they are going to do it again, because law of attraction demands that you do. So this is the sentence that we want you to hear. The other was just the getting ready to hear the one sentence. This is the sentence that we want you to hear. I'm going to stop beating up on myself for my natural law of attraction response to the situation that I'm in right now. I'm going to stop beating up on myself for my natural law of attraction response to the momentum that is underway right now. Because your path, that momentum is your path, and where you are is all right. And in the absence of that self-condemnation, you're going to find some vibrations that are going to allow you to see some things that you haven't been allowing yourself to see. If we could get you to just do that one thing, stop being so mean to yourself in your comparison of where you are in relationship to where you want to be. Where you want to be would light up. But when you're condemning where you stand, do you hear the power of the discord in condemning where you stand? Condemning the very point of attraction that equals everything that you're allowing in. Can you feel the wall that you build when you say, I'm not where I'm supposed to be, I'm not where I'm supposed to be, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. The path's there, you don't see it. The path's there, you don't see it. The path's there, you don't see it. The path's there, you don't see it, because you're not where you're supposed to be. I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I am not where I'm supposed to be. I should be doing better. I should be doing better than I'm doing right now. I'm not where I'm supposed to be. There's the path. You don't see it. There's the path. You don't see it. There's a path. You don't see it, because you have got yourself in a vibrational place where you can't see it. But if you have practiced, I'm a nice person and I like to feel good, and feeling good is who I am, and I was born to feel good, and Source adores me, and I want to feel good, and I'm making my way, and I'm figuring this out, and everything's unfolding, and I'm never going to get it done, and I can't get it wrong, and everything's working out for me, and I'm figuring it out as I go along, and I'm feeling better every day, and I like getting control of my vibrational frequencies, and I love knowing about these emotions, and I'm finding my way into unconditional love, and there are conditions that I don't like, but I don't have to focus on them. alignment. It doesn't mean put my head in the sand. It means distract myself from the details of the condition and focus upon the general essence of why the condition is important to me. I can find a vibrational alignment with who I am, and as I find a vibrational alignment with who I am, everything will show up, and in the meantime, things are showing up. Things are working out for me. I'm doing better than I'm giving myself credit to. I need to lighten up. I need to give myself a break. Here and now, my source is flowing to me. Am I letting it in? I could let it in. I could let source in. I could let my son in. I can let Jerry in. I could let someone who really loves me in right now. I have to beat up on myself and hold them out. No, don't come. I'm mad at myself. I know you want to help me, but no, don't come. I'm going to do this on my own because I need to prove worthiness to someone who wants in if I just lighten up a little bit. Lighten up a little bit. Be easier about yourself. But you got to practice some love before you can love yourself, and that's the hard part. It's easier to love out there than it is over here because you've been practicing not loving over here enough, you see. Really, really good time for a segment of refreshment.
Thank you.